Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about pre-K and K and how that's going around here. Just a little bit of an update. If you're new here, you might not be able to tell. If you've been around, you might be able to tell. I'm just getting my voice back. I've been a little under the weather, so I'm coming at you in my sweats, hair not done, but I am clean and have clean clothes on. Anyway, I feel like that's a big achievement when you've been sick. Anyways, I wanted to share because it's been a while since I've shared pre-K and K stuff. I've been doing my monthly recap and homeschool plans and goals videos and just like briefly touching on what we're doing for all of the different age groups in my house. But for my 4 and 5-year-old, it's been a while since I've been sharing like really specific things like what we have going on the learning shelf, where we are sort of like with our letter of the week that we've been doing throughout the year this year, and just kind of like activities and learning through play. And so I wanted to share because we are almost at the end of the alphabet. We've taken our time. We've had some weeks where like we've been away, we've been traveling, we didn't really do it at all. We've had some times where we've spent like 2 weeks on a letter for a variety of different reasons. And so we are just finishing up W. So we are almost to the end of the alphabet, and then I'm really excited to share with you guys what we'll be doing next. With my 4 and 5-year-olds, I kind of alluded to it in some previous videos and wasn't exactly sure what we would be doing, but I kind of have a handle on what we're going to do. Although with me, those things always change and evolve and grow. And so this is where we're at right now. Letter W, I wanted to be sure to share specific things to letter W for that inspiration, but then also just like in general, some ideas for if you have a learning shelf or you just want to set out learning activities, or you want to do it as like a hands-on lesson with your child, just to give you some ideas and show you how I do it. So hopefully you enjoy seeing some of what we've been doing for W week.
So what I usually start with for a new letter of the week is the chalk wall. So I put up the scripture of the week, I put up some cursive practice for my 8-year-old, and then some print practice for my 4 and 5-year-olds. Usually my 5-year-old will end up asking for cursive like his sister, so I may add that in. But for now, because I'm doing V and W on the chalk wall as a way to review V, as well as show the differences and similarities between V and W, I'm just keeping it at print for him for now. And then I've also included U and these little poster cards that I have from a previous knowledge crate, just showing the differences between U, V, and W, the way they look, and then also their sounds. So we'll go over these just periodically, and then also for them to have the visual, I think is helpful as well. And then we always have our scripture card out from Pip and J Papery to go along with the letter of the week. I also have just a month card out to go over the month with them. And then there's always a character trait that we are focusing on from the character pack from September & Co. So you can find those things linked in the description box. And then the next thing I do is set up our Montessori shelf. So while we're going to be focusing on a bunch of different things that start with W, Worm Weather is the main book that we're going to look at. So we'll focus on worms. And then both worm and weather start with a W, so that's really cool. I have out this CVC e-board and just some cursive letter tiles, and then also some just wooden print letters for my 4 and 5-year-olds to just explore. And then I also put out the worm life cycle so they can build literacy, and there's a little bit of nature study in there with the life cycle pieces. And then to develop that weather piece a little bit, I put back out our weather board from Love Every so they can focus on day of the week and season and weather and temperature and all of those things. I'd put this away for a little while because they seem to not be interested, so I kind of brought it out of the rotation, and then I'm bringing it back in. I also pulled out from the little emotions set the worried one so that they can think about another word that starts with W, but then also an opportunity to talk about some social emotional things and just kind of continue to build their, social and emotional intelligence. I brought out the wind card for both weather and W, and then the ABC here do cards for the letter sound just for some practice, and then another thing that starts with W. And then I have out our little rolled letter and a little card just to practice the shape and the motion of creating the letter, just through play and without the pressure of actually writing, because that can be a harder skill for kids at this age. And then I've been keeping this out the last couple rotations. I really like this as a hands-on way to just practice math. And I really love on this shelf when I can have math, literacy, some science and or history, and then some social emotional learning aspects as well. So this shelf is always about learning through play. Something else that we're going through this week is just the worm lesson from Science for Little Heart and Hands from the Good and the Beautiful. So each time there's a different letter for the week, I see if there's a lesson that corresponds in here, because this is really the perfect age level for my 4 and 5-year-olds, and then also my 8-year-old. So it's perfect for me to just focus on the 3 youngest with these. And then I've also used it as a way to intro different topics that I'm going to be learning with my older kids as well, or kind of as a whole family, just using the opener. And then there's always either a story or a video and some discussion. And so for this week, I just really did this with my youngest 3, and it worked really well. We did it outside, and it was a beautiful spring day. And then I love the big book of science stories that goes with it. And after you read that section, there are some discussion questions and optional activities. And so I just want to show you really quick, in case you're not familiar with this, how beautiful this big book of science stories is. So they're just a bunch of little stories that correspond with that lesson topic. And it's just like a little short book where you're learning through a narrative. So you learn all about worms through this little story of a homeschool group learning about worms together. So then while some things are guided by me, like going through that little lesson, I also like to leave things out for them to do independently that either relate to the letter or just a skill that I want them to work on, like my 5-year-old with writing his name on his little chalkboard from Chock-full of Design. These little doodles and pre-writing books from The Good and the Beautiful, I really love. This is part 2. And so I just opened it to the W page so that they can practice another way to practice the W, and then also just another thing that starts with W. So as you can see, I start to go in order from the beginning, and then for the letter of the week, I pull out that specific letter pages. These are just some printables from a previous mega bundle, just to practice some numbers and writing. So that's kind of the math aspect. And then for my 4-year-old, she has her name puzzle. So she's not really writing. She's just engaging with the letters in her name in a hands-on way, especially because she has such a longer name. And then I have out her doodles and pre-writing as well. So they'll do the same thing and then similar things. And then I just have out some a handwriting page that my 8-year-old didn't finish the day before. So I just put that out for her so she has something as well. Another activity on the next day brings out that bookworm weather and also these new sentence and word boards from Barn Owl Kids. And then those movable Montessori alphabet letters. And then just focusing on some sensory play as well with this over and under board that I got from Barn Owl's Kids as well. So I've also matched that up with the earthworm sample pack that is in the current mega bundle, which is the homesteading bundle. And that's almost over. So if you're interested in that, you can find that link down below. I love finding ways to mix and match. So the life cycle things. And then on the next day, I used the same word or sentence boards along with that over and under board. And I actually paired it with Up in the Garden, Down in the Dirt. And then all of these printables are also from the Homesteading Mega Bundle. And I have these sunflowers out. So I thought this little parts of a sunflower activity would be perfect. And then some focus on honeybee anatomy. So just more literacy and sensory. But then I also added in these greater than, equal to, less than cards from the bundle to add in that math aspect. So just really finding ways to learn through play, touch on different subject areas that are important for them in fun and interesting ways. So switching gears a little bit from sensory play, the next thing that we'll work on is from Slow Down, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature. So the wolf page, obviously because it starts with W, but also because I have some activities from my Slow Down notebooking guide. This was in the winter and night sky guide. I have different ones for different seasons, and I'm actually getting ready in the next couple weeks to release the full Slow Down guide for the entire book. So you can be on the lookout for that. But there are ways to engage with the letter W if your child is working on the alphabet, just kind of like pasting the little wolves that you see there and manipulating the letters and tracing. And there's also notebooking prompts for older kids. And then I'm just looking through my Peaceful Preschool guide from the Peaceful Press to see if there are any activities from the letter W week that we might want to use, like any books that I want to take out from the library, any activities to engage with the letter W a little bit more. I just pull loosely from this guide. Some weeks I don't even look at it at all. Some weeks I use a lot of the activities, and then some weeks I just pick one or two things that would just kind of go well with what we're already doing. And so there are life skills and art skills and large motor and fine motor skills and counting skills and some things that don't really have much to do with the letter W, but that might also just give me some fun ideas for them for their kind of preschool learning that we do just in a flexible and fun way.
Okay, you guys, that is pretty much it. Other than normal play, learning through play that is not kind of set up as an invitation to learn by me. So I consider these things like learning invitations. I consider them strewing. Same kind of concept or idea. We read lots of books. They play a ton. They listen in on lessons from their older siblings and they learn things that way. We do lots of read alouds as a family and Bible study and cook and clean and just live life together, travel. But this is just to give you kind of an idea of the things that I do specifically as learning invitations for my 4 and 5-year-old. Sorry, there's lots of bird activity outside and it's catching my interest. And so that's another thing, like they bird watch and we fill the bird feeders and just really enjoy learning and living together. So anyways, I hope that this example of someone who does things a little bit unconventionally, I hope you find this helpful. Let me know down in the comments below if you found this helpful, if you have any questions, what you would love to see next on my channel, what you have found most helpful in the recent year is always helpful for me to know. If you're not already following me over on Instagram, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. And I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Until next time, stay rooted.